Hi everyone, it's Latoya Parker. Coming to give my few cents on our current assignment, which was the right to literacy. I had the introduction, which I think everyone had, and I had part 1, which was chapters 1 through 4. Excuse me. Chapter 1 was titled The Right to Think, and it basically dealt with thinking critically, how to get students to think critically. And it talked about having students think critically, empowering students through different methods, and having giving them plenty of practice in order to hone those critical thinking skills. And I say critical thinking as opposed to just thinking. I think in chapter 1 it was also mentioned that the author taught at a university for a while, and she was telling the students there that she was going to teach them how to think in order to learn, and they were kind of confused about the term thinking. And then she asked the difference between seeing something and watching something, and they were able to give a clear definition of the two. And she was basically telling them that she was going to teach them how to watch with their mind as opposed to just seeing with their mind, which I thought was interesting. So that was basically the gist of chapter 1, was teaching thinking skills. Chapter 2, excuse me. Chapter 2 dealt with metacognition, which, since undergrad I've always taught metacognition was thinking about one's thinking. And they talk about giving different strategies for metacognition. What I thought was very important in that chapter was having the teacher model their own thinking when they're reading, which I know I tend to do a lot of when I'm doing read alouds with my children. Even though I don't teach secondary, we do model this metacognition with my students. Excuse me. When I do a read aloud, I ask the questions that some of the children probably ask when they read, listen to a story. I ask them aloud so that the kids can hear, my thought processes, and it's a very good technique to use, when we discuss some of those questions, as a class. So that was the gist of chapter 2. Chapter 3 was titled How Literacy Serves Content Area Goals, and it just talked about how literacy goes across all content areas, basically, and how there's a certain thought process that goes along with mathematics, how a certain thought process goes along with social studies, science, just the different content areas. And excuse me, it talked about having the teachers listen to students, and in order to find out what their knowledge is, to access their knowledge, to see what they know and what they might need help with knowing. Chapter 4 was access and power, and it talked about when I originally read the title of this prior to reading the chapter, I just thought about back to the introduction when they were referring to social change. Literacy is a very vital part of everyone's life, and that ties into the whole idea of it being a civil right. I feel as though if you're not literate, you're going to have a hard time with life. You're going to have a hard time in all other subject areas in school. Math when it comes to doing word problems, science when it comes to relating to the materials. If you're not literate, you're going to have a hard time, getting through school and beyond. Just being a functioning adult. You have the term functionally illiterate, excuse me, which is, I don't think that's a way to go. And it just being a literate person helps you to make social change. That's what I thought about when I was reading chapter 4. Just being able to take whatever background or background knowledge that children have, and being able to hone in on that and help it grow so that they can have those minds to make those changes, in society, changing things that they believe in, having things to believe in order to change them. So that was basically the gist of my 4 chapters. To assess the assignment, I thought it was a great assignment. Learned quite a few things. I never thought of literacy as a civil right, or even put those two things together. I just always felt like literacy was something that all people should have access to and should have. I did mention in the introduction about lower social economic classes, and also students of color, not being as having access to some of those rights, if have you, as far as literacy is concerned, which I face day to day. I teach in a low socioeconomic area, and I think 99% of our student population are children of color. So I see the day-to-day things and the things that go on in my school, and lack of access to certain materials, and that does have an effect on literacy levels. I don't think that's the main cause of low literacy levels, but not having the materials as some of their counterparts may keep them from having those skills. So I thought that this was a very good activity for us to do, and I think I looked at Brian's video already, and I will agree with him. I like that we'll be able to look at the other and respond to other classmates' chapters, as opposed to being able to only read a few chapters and just have a piece of the book. Being able to get the gist of the whole book this time, with looking at other classmates' blogs about their portion of the book. But I thought it was a good assignment, and look forward to looking at everyone else's video.